As a special one-off video to celebrate the release of yet another Stephen King adaptation, I plan to run through all the creatures from The Mist to potentially give you guys an insight into what you may see coming up in the future show. Focusing solely on the creatures from the film adaptation here today, because these have been proven to translate to film and adds to the fact we may very well see these in the series as well. The scorpion fly. Nocturnal creatures and the lowest on the food chain. The scorpion fly are between 2 to 4 feet long, purple in colour and look like a cross between a wasp and a scorpion. Like moths, they are attracted to sources of light. Gathering in swarms much like their terrestrial counterparts, the scorpion fly can quickly overwhelm you. Appearing to be plump, with segmented abdomens, the scorpion fly has a particularly nasty offensive weapon, a stinger, containing a neurotoxin which causes incredible swelling and ultimately leads to a quick and painful death. Due to being nocturnal, these scorpion flies live in a hive-like structure during the day, not too dissimilar to that of a wasp, bee, or hornet. As mentioned previously, the scorpion fly is lowest on the food chain, being prey to the terra buzzards. The terra buzzards, much like their prey the scorpion fly, are nocturnal. Closely resembling a pterodactyl, the terra buzzard has a dark pink skin tone, along with pale grey eyes and double-jointed legs, and a hook-shaped beak. Although they are reminiscent to the pterodactyl, the terra buzzard does in fact have 2 sets of wings, one pair in place of arms and the other on its back like a bird of prey. Although their food source is the scorpion fly, the terra buzzard will attack humans, but only if there is no food or they come into close proximity to you. The grey widower is perhaps next on the food chain of the creatures within the mist. As the name implies, the grey widower is a grey spider-like monster around the size of a dog. Very similar to spiders, with some slight differences, the grey widower has 8 long and thin legs, though they are more crab-like than they are arachnid. The abdomen of the widower is very similar to a wasp, and the head resembles that of a human skull, though they have 4 eyes. The eyes seem to serve little purpose to the grey widower, as the movie portrays them to hunt via their sense of sound, which lines up with regards to their environment. The mist is deep and thick, and very little can be seen out of arm's reach. They are in fact able to produce sound, with multiple ranges, presumably as a means to intimidate their prey. The webs of the grey widower are certainly not like their spider counterparts. The strands they produce are highly corrosive, able to cut through cloth and human flesh. They use this as an offensive weapon, firing them as projectiles. Their means of reproducing is perhaps the most unnerving element to these beasts. Laying eggs within a living host, under the surface of the skin they look like boils, until eventually they erupt, killing the host and letting loose thousands of miniature hatchlings known as grey widowlets. The infant creature resembles its adult version, however, they are more brown in colour and smaller. Though the life cycle for the grey widower hasn't been entirely shown, we can theorise that they grow at a rapid rate. From their extremely quick gestation times, the widowlets will likely reach dog size quickly, and at the end of the film, as the army is performing their clear-up job, we see giant spider-like creatures in flames, likely to be the adult version of the grey widower, far above dog size, and if this is their capacity for growth, it just makes them all the more terrifying. Though, it was never entirely confirmed, and this could simply be another creature that stemmed from the mist that we didn't get to see. Perhaps one of the more bizarre things to come forth from the mist are the tentacles from Planet X. In appearance, they look like squid tentacles or even sandworms. However, they have mouths where suckers would ordinarily be, the mouths they use to consume prey the moment they have them ensnared. Sharp claws running adjacent to the mouths and running down their side. These are presumably used to assist in eating their prey as well as killing them. In terms of colour, the tentacles are a pinky grey, The most bizarre thing about these creatures is in fact the origin. Within the movie, no main body for the tentacles was seen, which adds further mystery and potential horror to these creatures. In death, the tentacles decompose and deteriorate into a black liquid within seconds from severing. A truly otherworldly monster. The arachna lobster. A massive creature by comparison to the previous beasts listed, this creature of the mist stands roughly 2 stories tall. Along with its height, it has 2 huge pincers for arms, similar to that of a praying mantis, making the arachna lobster a formidable adversary. The creature itself isn't entirely reminiscent of an insect and does have a fleshy torso which sits atop its 6 legs. The torso of the arachna lobster is hunched or slouched in appearance, and upwards from there, the head of this monster is essentially a giant mouth lined with razor-sharp teeth, which it presumably uses to finish off prey and feed. Though the arachna lobster isn't shown on screen past the silhouette, we do know it generally opts to attack using its pincers over anything else, bisecting its prey and leaving severed bodies in its wake. And last but certainly not least, we have something so large its name is the impossibly large creature, the behemoth. An enormous 6-legged animal. The behemoth, though the largest of all mist creatures, is actually the most placid. You can liken it to the blue whale, incredibly large but meaning no harm. The behemoth does, however, cause massive damage and death, but only from its sheer size. Walking will crush humans, cars, and even pull power lines down. In appearance, the behemoth stands at roughly 240 feet, has 6 double-jointed legs, and on its underbelly, the behemoth has hundreds upon hundreds of appendages with multiple joints, which seem to serve no purpose due to its sheer size and their location. The face of the behemoth is obscured by numerous tentacles which cover its head, leading many to wonder what exactly it looks like. As it walks, the behemoth will leave footprints. Due to its sheer size and weight, the behemoth crushes the ground with every step, and the imprints are SUV size, which inevitably left an incredible amount of damage and death in its wake. Some had theorized that the behemoth, though its placid nature, is in fact the source of the creatures from the mist. As it walks, we can see numerous creatures flying around it, potentially terra buzzards and scorpion flies. The tentacles surrounding its face, some say are the tentacles from Planet X creature, and one could easily see the grey widowers living somewhere on its body. Though, of course, this theory does fall apart when you consider the arachna lobster. I do like it though, as the thought of this massive, placid monster bringing with it death and destruction is something poetic. So, with Stephen King adaptations making a massive resurgence, with The Dark Tower, The Mist, and even It, fans of the universe he created have enough to feast on for some time. So guys, have you tuned into The Mist yet? What is it you hope to see creature-wise? Do you want to see something original, or perhaps a new take on what was in the novel and the film version? Also, what was your favourite creature from the movie? Personally, my favourite has to be the tentacles from Planet X. Why? Because they are perhaps some of the most freaky and mysterious of all. We don't know what is controlling them. We don't know why the tentacles simply dissolve into a black liquid when cut off, and it's just one of those grotesque creature designs that gets me personally. So I'd be really keen to hear your thoughts on The Mist, both TV and movie versions. The ending of the film, if you haven't seen it, caused a fair amount of mixed reactions, but for me, I personally think it's one of the best endings committed to film. It was just so bleak and dour, a bit left field, thought-provoking, and I personally like that in a movie. If you're a fan of the Stephen King universe, be it novels or movies adapted from the books, what are you most looking forward to from the upcoming titles that have been announced? Although I'm excited for The Dark Tower, it has to be one of the best looking remakes I've seen so far. Everything about that film screams horror, and I cannot wait to see it on the big screen. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and if you did enjoy this video then please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel for more in the future. If you think this video is worth it and you want to support the channel, then please head on over to my Patreon page, the link is in the description box. I've been Mr. H, and until next time, I'll catch you in the comments section.